Hello guys, this is my tutorial on how to retopologize in Maya. Here you can see is my high poly asset that I've imported in. You may have some issues with your imported asset, such as scale or pivot point. If you need to make any of these adjustments, you can make it at this stage, but you will need to re-export it out as an OBJ. This is for late stages when we're working with Substance Painter, as the high poly will need to be on the same height and position as the low poly. So, finally, you're happy with your current mesh, we will move on to a GPU cache. So, why we do a GPU cache is to basically allow us to move around the environment quickly, as the high poly count is going to reduce our actual speed as much as processing what we're doing. So, we do a GPU cache so we can work quick. And that's going GPU cache itself is going to use our GPU to process the actual mesh. And so, if you just export it out, you see it in a rock. So fine, that's exported. Now we can delete our mesh. And now we can import back our new GPU cache. So just notice now we don't have any faces anymore. And this mesh is no longer editable, although you can move it around. You may want to freeze transformation at this point, just so you don't actually knock it about and change the position of it. So, to actually make our retopology, we're going to basically draw on top of the mesh itself. And to do this, we're going to have to make it live. And that's just modify and make live. And so now we can start drawing with our quad tool. So the quad tool is rather simple. If you click on the mesh, you leave these little vertices. And we're basically going to use this around the mesh itself. So you hold shift, you can make a plane. And we're going to be trying to make these polys using these vertices here. And what we're going to want to do is just cover the mesh in quads and make sure that we're forming edge loops the way around. If you need to adjust the actual position, you can click and drag on the edge, the vertices, or the faces. You can model in tries, but I would recommend that you work in quads. This is mainly for animation purposes, but it's a general rule of thumb. It's better practice to always work in quads for your modeling. Go, keep moving down. We'll work quite fast on the model. If you need to at any point, just feel free to pause the video. But the base of the edge loop you can see here is the loop goes the full way around for the edge. And then that allows us to create these loops. Create the mesh. Edge loops are another practice to help with animation. They're mainly to do with the stop any deforming in the mesh. What you want to divide at all costs is making an n-gon when you're modeling. And so an n-gon is where you create anything that's bigger than 4 sides. Let's see here. Now we've made our mesh. It's very low poly at this point, possibly too low. So what we can do, and there's a nice thing you can do in the quad tool, is actually add in edge loops around where you need. So you hold Control and just position your mouse. You see add your edge loops, and you can see where you're adding the vertices through the actual mesh itself. And then if you hold down Shift, just drag around, you see we're going to start shaping the mesh and relaxing it around the actual GPU cache itself. So the more loops we add, the more detail we can put into the mesh itself. This is now like loops. There we go. As you can see here, it's starting to take shape the more loops we add. If at any point you feel like you've made a mistake, or if you made a try, you can always just delete when need be. Add that back. Or additionally, if you need to, another nice technique with the quadro tool is to just take either an edge or a vertex, and you can just pull one into the other, see, and connect them together to make a single line. Move that back. So as we sort of make it take shape better now. So you've now you get into an asset where you can keep run this in the game. You don't go too well, depending on your asset itself. You might need to add more or less. The less you can do, the better. But the more you add in, is the better your actual baking will be. So don't feel bad about keeping in some edge loops around. And I think we're about there with this. So once you're happy with what you've done, you just need to select the new poly surface. We'll name this rock underscore low poly, and now we can export that out as a new OBJ. Hope you guys found this tutorial useful.